Today's notes are on surface area of prisms, specifically rectangular prisms. This is a rectangular prism. It is called a rectangular prism because it has bases that are rectangles. So a prism is named for its base. So this is a rectangular prism. Before we get started, let's talk about what surface area is. The surface area of a solid is the sum of the areas of all of its faces. A net, which is this, is a 2D representation of a solid. So let's say, for instance, somebody took this prism, let's say it's a box, and cut it open and laid it flat. They would get a net, okay? All right. You can use a net to help you find surface area. Or you can just look at the 3D solid and determine the surface area. Surface area is measured in square units because we're still talking about area. So now it wants us to find the surface area of the rectangular prism. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to number my sides, or faces, or what they're called. A rectangular prism has 6 faces. 6 faces, a front, a back, a top, a bottom, and 2 sides. Then I'm going to number my table. And then I'm going to find the area of each face. So let's start with number 1. So number 1 is here. And number 1 on our prism is the front side of the prism. So this front side is number 1. And it measures 7 by 3, which gives us 21 square inches. Number 2 is here on our net, and here on our rectangular prism. This bottom one, and it measures 7 by 4, which is 28 square inches. Number 3 is a 7 by 3 rectangle, and on our solid, it is its back. Okay, so you notice that number 1 and number 3 are opposites, so they have the same measurements. So 7 by 3, which is 21 square inches. Number 4 on our net is here on our solid. And it's opposite number 2. So number 2 and number 4 are opposite, so they have the same measurement, 7 by 4, which equals 28 inches squared. So you notice opposite sides are equal. Let's look at number 5. Here's number 5 on our net, which represents the side of our prism. And it measures 3 by 5. Sorry, by 4. Which is 12 square inches. And then our last face is number 6 here, which is opposite number 5. And opposite sides are equal, so number 6 is also a 3 by 4 rectangle. Okay, so opposite sides are equal. Now we need to find the surface area. So we found the area of each face of our rectangle. Now we need to add them up in order to find our surface area. So all we're going to do is add them up. So we got 21 plus 28 plus 21 plus 28 plus 12 plus 12. Okay, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I counted for all 6 of my faces. So now I'm going to add them up, and I get 122 square inches. So the surface area of this rectangular prism is 122 square inches. Now let's recap. The surface area of a solid is the sum of the areas of all of its faces. When you think about surface area, you're thinking about maybe wrapping something with wrapping paper. So if I was to wrap this box, for instance, with wrapping paper, I would find the surface area so I can have the exact amount of paper that's needed to cover it. So when you think surface area, think about covering something with paper, for instance. A net is a 2D representation of the solid. Okay, so this again is the net. 2D representation. Somebody cut open a box, laid it flat. That's how you get a net. You can use the net to find the surface area, or you can just simply look at each face of the prism to find the area of each. To find the surface area, we find the area of each individual rectangle, and then we add them all together. Any questions? Please feel free to ask. Thank you.